The long wait is over, the summer is gone, the best leagues in the land are back.
It's time to raise the game.
BUCS Super Rugby raising the game west of the Severn River, because we are at the historic Cardiff Arms Park for one of the iconic games in the BUCS Super Rugby calendar. It's the Cardiff Clash, Part 2, in the capital of the Principality. Merry Clashmas, one and all. They say it comes earlier every year, but that's Christmas. For us, the Clash can't come soon enough, and for us, it is twice a year. And 'tis the season for big crunch clashes here at the Cardiff Arms Park. Cardiff are taking on Cardiff Met. Cardiff Met the host today, but one thing you can guarantee when these two great universities come to meet is a packed out Arms Park, a tribal atmosphere, and some of the best rugby from the best leagues in the land. And if that hasn't whetted your appetite sufficiently, then let's take a look back through the lens from the action from last year.
Fasten your seatbelts, it's time for a Christmas cracking Cardiff Clash. So good to have your company here at Cardiff Arms Park for the Cardiff Clash at Christmas time. Mugabe, great burst of pace, takes the defenders over the line. Cardiff University score! Williams off her wing again, so incisive Williams. Great power, great offload, and it's try number 3, out to the edge, and over. And those are the things you just can't stop. Sarah Singleton kicked over the top, Steph Davis, favourite to get there. Great kick, great finish, the gap, there's a great big hole, oh intercepted, here we go, it's the foot race, he's got the pace, he's got the step, and Cardiff Met are under the post, a phenomenal twist, and Cardiff Met celebrate Christmas early, a phenomenal game of rugby, a sensational comeback.
High drama and cracking comms from none other than Dave Rogers, who is alongside me for another clash. It's good to be back in Cardiff.
So good to be back in Cardiff. This is really exciting. When they met earlier in the season, it was the first game of the season. I think for Cardiff University, that was perhaps a little bit intimidating. New coach, new programme, new group of players, and they'd never experienced anything like this. And as a result, they didn't really put their best foot forward. It's a tough league for them. It's only their second season at the top level, and Cardiff Met, well, they're ruthless. They love to win, so they put their foot on the throat. They've not quite been able to kick on, and I think both teams tonight have got a real opportunity to go into a Christmas with a bit of spring in their step.
Ooh, a Christmas pep in their step. Well, it is a double-header, of course. It's BUCS Super Wednesday, and we're starting with the women's. And let's look at Cardiff Met, who head coach Lisa Newton earlier in the season promised me they'd be delivering sexy rugby.
Did she really?
She did indeed. Has that, in your opinion of sexiness on the rugby field, have Cardiff Met delivered that so far this season?
I mean, that is perhaps the most subjective thing in the world, isn't it, Joe? They had a great start to the season, of course, with that win here at the Arms Park against Cardiff University. They're up against it. They want to be a top team in women's BUCS Super Rugby, but you think about Exeter and Loughborough and Hartpury and the links they have with the Premiership women's clubs. Cardiff Met have got that with the Celtic Challenge, but they don't quite have the pool of players, and it's not quite drawn out over the season the same way that Premiership women's rugby is. But 23 players from Cardiff Met are going to be representing Gwalia Lightning or Brython Thunder. And I think that is evidence that they are playing sexy rugby, they are developing players, and they are, yeah, sexy rugby, mate. You said it. Thank you so much. No, but they are putting players in the position to move on from the university game into what they hope will be the professional game. Is it sexy enough for the top 4? Not at the moment. They're currently in 5th position.
They're
but
close, though. They're close, and they got a big marquee victory away at Edinburgh 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, and that's massive, isn't it? Especially sort of going up there. We talk about men's BUCS Super Rugby. We've been involved with that for a little bit longer, and all of the travel, Exeter to Durham. Women's BUCS Super Rugby leaves that in the dust. You've got to go over 2 borders to play your games sometimes, whether it's Scotland to Wales or Wales to Scotland or Devon to Edinburgh or whatever. But yes, beating Edinburgh, again, that Edinburgh team that is going to be packed with Celtic Challenge players, serious win.
I'm going to have to cut you off, D-Rog, because we are doing this live, everybody, and we have an interview with the architect of the sexy rugby of Cardiff Met, Lisa Newton, who was with D-Rog moments ago.
You ready for Christmas?
Absolutely.
Really?
No, not at all. I'm a parent. I don't know any parent that's ready for Christmas.
Are you ready for the Cardiff Clash? This is a massive occasion.
It is a massive occasion, and earlier on this year we've already sort of, you know, upped the ante. It felt bigger and louder than it has in the past, so expectations are it's going to grow again tonight.
You've almost been victims of your own success here, because so many players involved with this programme have put their hand up for selection and they've been taken away from you because of the Celtic Challenge. So it's a massive opportunity for some other players to step up tonight, isn't it?
It is absolutely huge, and I think it's probably is a good demonstration of the depth that we're growing and creating within the programme at Cardiff Met. And like, it's fantastic. It's fantastic that the occasion gets to be celebrated with more people. But yeah, it does feel a bit harsh that when 23 players are up playing, you know, that's tough.
You can speak openly and honestly here. Is that a little bit frustrating from you from a selection point of view, but also for the players who don't get the opportunity to play in front of the cameras under the lights here at such a special ground?
Yeah, it's conflicting, isn't it? Because absolutely we want to celebrate them going on to play representative rugby and in that capacity, and we do celebrate them. It is frustrating though, on the other hand, that we're not possibly going with what we would say our strongest team is, but I think there's a real opportunity for the girls who are coming through behind them to sort of give them a nudge and say, hey, listen, I'm nipping at your heels here. So I'm really excited for that tonight. I forgot what the first part of the question was, Dave. Sorry,
hey, we're all good. We'll move on to the next one, because Cardiff University, they've lost a couple of players as well. They are a programme that are moving in the right direction, and they're certainly not going to make life easy for you tonight, are they?
No, absolutely not. And we're not coming here with an expectation of a big win. That's not what we're here to do. What we want to do is really reinforce our physicality, and that's how we're going to judge tonight's performance. Obviously we're going after the win, that goes without saying, but the physicality part of tonight is really important to us.
Are you where you want to be in the league?
Probably not, but you know, it'll come.
I hope it does. Good luck tonight.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
So that's the sexy rugby of Cardiff Met, well covered off, but it's about their opponents, the visitors, inverted commas, here in Cardiff University, here at the Arms Park. And I guess a team at a different stage of their evolution, Dave.
Yes, but a team who have been involved with some big occasions. 12 of the starting 15 played in the varsity fixture at the Swansea.com Stadium at the end of last year. And, you know, that's something they look to build towards. They know they're not going to be winning Women's BUCS Super Rugby, but try and get to the playoffs, try and get some wins, try and win that showpiece game for them. They brought in Zoe Delplace, who used to play for La Rochelle in France. She took a little bit of time off to do her undergrad. And she is back. She's in the second row. She adds amazing experience. Look, you've seen the France under-18s, the under-20s women. Their catch pass, their skill levels are unbelievable. So she adds some serious quality at lock.
And they got some potent players as well. Josh Thursacre, like look of her, joint top try scorer. And if they can get the ball into those girls' hands, then there's danger for Met.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she's a netball convert. She was the most improved sports person in Cardiff Uni last year. She's come over to a new sport. She's excelled. Outside her, you've got Caro Thomas. She's been around in uni. She's like the female Van Wilder, mate. I think she's in like her 7th year doing a PhD. But she adds experience. And when you've got all these freshers, when you're trying to build towards something, players that are willing to sort of grab hold of the jersey next to them and pull them along and talk about the experiences and the club that they've built, because that's what they're trying to do at Cardiff University, a sustainable club, then you can be in a good spot.
Right, you are going to have to get back to comms. As you can see, it's Baltic here. Look, mate, look how Welsh I am. Who's it?
That's Dolgellau, Club Rugby Dolgellau.
Dolgellau Rugby Club.
You love North Wales as well.
Represented on the Cardiff Clash. But anyway, that's enough from D-Rod, because he's got to get to comms. But he did catch up with Nick Evans, who is the new coach of Cardiff University Women's Rugby. And she had some interesting things to say.
a massive occasion and a big opportunity to sign off in style before Christmas. Taking everything into account from the start of the season to now, how happy are you? Give yourself some marks out of 10.
Marks out of 10. I think for the squad, 10 out of 10. The work rate they've put in training, the weekly kind of turning up and learning, it's been fantastic. There's a real squad unity. And I think we've done really well in terms of our process goals. So if you look at our lineouts and scrums, and there are moments in every single game where we play some really good rugby. So it's just putting those moments together and really pressurising opposition, really. Are
you concentrating on those moments then? Because you're still relatively new to this level. You're up against teams who've got pathways into the professional game the other side of the border. If you focus on those, even if you don't get the result, can you leave with a smile on your face at the full-time whistle?
Absolutely, and I think that for me, if these players leave here and they're ready to play Premiership, that'll be a real celebration. I think you've got to take the small wins in the infancy of a programme. I think we're building. We're going to look to next year and make sure we get more players into it, but that'll come from our reputation as a squad, our reputation as an environment. So we're working on the environment, all the controllables. The result we can't control, but how we play and how we treat each other is really important.
What about this as an occasion then? Because we're here at Cardiff Arms Park. It's been a home recently for the Welsh women's national team. So much great rugby, historic rugby has been played here over the years. This is a big deal for these young players, isn't it?
It's a big deal for me. This is where I got my first season ticket. My grandfather brought me here and pretended I was a boy. I knew all the laws of the game by the time I was 15. So I feel really proud. And for them, I've talked to about the Colosseum and about being gladiators and just, lapping up that kind of atmosphere. And I just think it's building them towards knowing that they can be elite athletes. And the pressures of that, the pressures of having TV, having lots of supporters, we're very lucky. And I just think we've got to understand we're in a privileged position and just enjoy that privilege and enjoy that pressure.
Do you think this is an important rivalry, an important night, an important occasion for Welsh rugby, the bigger picture? I
think so. If you think about, you don't want one team dominating. So I think the more that we build, I think it's good for Wales. It's good for our international team. But also it's a showcase for girls coming up into the game. If they want to stay in Wales, they can come to Cardiff University.
Nick Evans made of stern stuff, no big coat in Baltic conditions here, but an occasion to savour for all 46 players selected and both those coaches with dreams of writing their own chapter in the history books of a clash that is capturing the imagination of the capital season after season. Cardiff are pushing for a big victory, their first ever in the Cardiff Clash, whilst Cardiff Met will be pressing to make a claim for the top four and put pressure on the top as they seek to be at finals day come March, where all roads lead to Rodney Parade.
Take these beautiful things that I've got. Things that I've got. These beautiful things that I've got. Things that I've got. These beautiful
All roads lead to Rodney Parade, but right now it's our concentration on Cardiff Arms Park. Welcome everyone, wherever you're watching around the world, to part one of this Cardiff Clash double header. Cardiff Met, Cardiff University, a rivalry that is building and building and building. Two brilliant games tonight. The only city in the UK with two teams at the top level of both the men's and women's competition. And here come the teams. Cardiff University all in red. Cardiff Met in what is becoming a more and more famous maroon and navy. Through the smoke. What an occasion. Well, let's take a look at the teams that are going to be facing off tonight, starting with Cardiff Met. 23 players missing all in all. The Celtic Challenge has well, ripped the heart out of the team. However, strength in depth is a real asset for Cardiff Met. 90 players as part of the club now. Katie Carr, the captain, an experienced front row. A couple of freshers in there as well. Orla Davis is one of them in the engine room. Seren Webster, Scarlet's under 18, former Hartbury College. She's on the blind side flank, and a couple of Wales age group players in the back three as well. Amy Williams, Molly May Powell, and Marnie George. And Freya Bell at 12 today. We've seen a lot of her at 10, but she's a playmaking centre and she'll be keeping things ticking over. Cardiff Uni, well, they're missing a fair few players to the Celtic Challenge too. Fewer than 23, but important parts in that Cardiff University jigsaw. Zoe Delplace, talked about her before. She is the French lock forward, formerly of La Rochelle. Gabby Della Savina, she's averaging 20 tackles a game, a serious workhorse. It's Claudia Harrison, Anna Davis and Daisy Bateman, all three started in the varsity game at the end of last season. Lily Jones as well at number 8, another of those. Josh Sturziker, the one to watch. Joe Burns, his favourite, and Caro Thomas on the right wing. Amelia Hetherington and Millie Bolkwell are the two freshers in that backline. What an opportunity for them today. Well, Cardiff Met, they're rocking and rolling and ready to go. They want to kick this game off and start the festive frivolities. Cardiff University, well, they're waiting a little bit longer. They are, of course, under the expert tutelage of Nick Evans now. But Owen is still down there. He's played a massive part in getting this team to where they are now. The promotion to what was then the Women's National League, what is now Women's BUCS Super Rugby. And they always talk about opportunities and culture and building this club to a desirable place where people come for the academia, they stay for the rugby. And the longer they stay in this league, the longer that pedigree will continue to grow. It's BUCS Super Rugby Wednesdays, it's Cardiff Met, it's Cardiff University, the clash at the Arms Park, and we are underway. Cardiff in the red, receiving the kickoff, attacking the try line away to your right. And in a game like this, where they're going to be under a lot of pressure, under a lot of scrutiny, they need to keep hold of the ball for longer periods than that. They cough it up at the first opportunity, and so it'll be Met with the first chance to try and get in behind. That's a good carry as well.
Fine, released it, not held.
So Isla Craig, that scrum half today. Nicole Marlowe at 10. That's a smart little nudge in behind, but Larry Elias is there. She's at 15 today. They tried Caro Thomas there last week. She's back on the wing. Here's Amy Williams. Wales under 20, second year student. Expect to see a lot of her in kicking opportunities today, kicking positions. In fact, it'll be both 15s as we see Larry Elias step forward. Injured all last year. Worked hard to recover and just about recovered in time for that varsity fixture that we talk so much about. Formerly of Wales 18s. Here's the captain, Harrison. Line out something that Nick Evans has talked about, those small wins. And there is one of them, off the top, and Eva Lewis. Lily Jones gets the handoff away. Tackle by Orla Davis. Eva Lewis, an interesting one. She's back at 9 after impressing at 10 towards the end of last season. Very continental. And that's Josh Sturziker. That'll be an interesting battle, her and Anwen Owen. Anwen Owen, formerly of Wales 7s. Good gain line being found here by Cardiff University. Katie Carr with the tackle. Bolkwell.
It's a rip.
Sturziker awaiting to the right. Instead they go to the left. Picked up off the bootstraps by Cleo Turley, but she's driven backwards. That was Katie Carr.
Great tackle from her. Emily Hay, the next to go. Centre, turn 10.
Knock-on advantage. 9 knock-on
There's been a hand on that from Met, so knock-on advantage, but they don't last too long. Good period this from Cardiff Uni. Anna Davies. No scrum half for the time being, so it slows right down. Hay opts for the boots, and Caro Thomas takes one bounce, and Met will have to escape. Good period of possession there, though, for Cardiff, and now it's up to Met to escape. And a good line out as well. That was Molly Crabb in at 2 today. We talked about all the players that Cardiff Met are missing. The teams have actually had to have 2 hookers brought back in, because of those 23, 4 of them were hookers. Now, time for the back 3 to have a... Oh, Larry Elias, she's just lost her footing there. She looks in some discomfort as well. She stayed down, Elias. And they coughed up the ball. So Met have it inside the Cardiff Uni half, and they're currently without their fullback.
Knock on in the tackle.
Amelia Hetherington has come across to cover as sweeper. Oh yeah, and Elias talked about her injury last year. Looks like she's picked up a fresh one this.
Time off. Guys, time off, injury.
And we'll take a little time to look at that. It was Elias on the counter-attack. I think her studs got stuck in the synthetic turf. And she stayed down. So 0-0 here at the Arms Park. Cardiff University readying a replacement. It's Lucy Senak, who will be the next to go. She usually covers scrum half. Former Quins under-18, formerly with London Irish as well. Well, she was hoping to play today, but certainly will not have expected to be on the field this early. That is a tough one for her. Chance to say hello to you, Will. How are you getting on?
I'm good, thank you very much, Dave. Pleasure to be alongside you for this one. It's certainly started a little bit slower than the game did in September. Met scoring after just 2 minutes there.
Well, Cardiff scored after what? 15 seconds last week, was it? The one of the records for women's BUCS Super Rugby. Larry Elias is up, but up gingerly. And she's been replaced by Lucy Senak. That is a tough end to the game, tough early end to the game for her. Fingers crossed it is precautionary, and she's got a little bit of time off now to recover before the BSR season kicks back off after Christmas. So Lucy Senak has moved in at scrum half. It'll be Met put in.
No? Issues? No?
First scrum of the game.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
In it comes then from Lewis. One on the short side.
Use it, please.
Instead they're going to go to the open side.
Backwards!
Oh, loose ball.
Roll
Which
10,
that come
roll
up?
10!
Marlowe needs to get out of the way here. Oh, well picked up. Right off the toes. It's all a little bit lateral, but another good carry. That was Emily Hay. As I said, centre turn 10, so she's not shy of going direct. Neither's Liv Price. Poppy Ellis in there, trying to rip that ball. She's held it up.
That's a tackle release.
Well, the referee just saying tackle in time. Oh, just knocked on. It's a good line.
First from red, second from black. Scrum.
Excellent hit, that one, from forcing the ball out, and they won that first scrum quite comfortably. So they'll be confident of setting up a platform here, but we haven't really seen them play inside Cardiff Uni's half yet.
Shaping up this one, they've got 4 attackers to the left, just 2 to the right. Quite a decent blind side if they fancy attacking that way. And it comes from Craig. Definitely an ascendancy in that Met scrum. Oh, great shot! Caro Thomas on Anwen Owen. That is the experience that we talk about. And then straight back into position on that kick. And great pressure here from Cardiff Uni in defence. Back to the halfway line. And they've turned that ball over. Well, the women in red have absolutely put it on Met there. Senak. All the numbers out to the left here for Cardiff University. Another good carry by Hay. And then up the short side once more. That's gone forward. Cleo Turley. Well, you were talking about the collisions. We had a couple of giant ones there.
Really impressive physical battle between the two teams already in this game, and be looking to keep that up for the full 80. But I think that a really important thing for Cardiff University here is they've shown that Met are not going to have it their own way, the way that they did back in September.
Well, Lisa Newton said beforehand, it's an opportunity for some of these second team players to, you know, give a bit of a reminder to the first teamers that the jersey isn't necessarily theirs. However, they've got to win this game today. That's a lovely offload. They've got to keep the momentum going as well. It's no good getting a victory against Edinburgh and then not following it up. They need evidence that they have got a squad that can put these strong results together. 7.5 minutes on our clock. Cardiff Met will manage to get that ball. Has that been lost forward? Yes. A little bit nervy at the moment, isn't it? And if anything, the nerves look like they belong to Cardiff Met more than Cardiff in these opening exchanges.
Time's off.
Yeah, I think the occasion of playing at a ground like this, with all the history that it brings and the extra support for both sides that there'll be, inevitably leads to some more nerves. But then obviously, yeah, the pressure, as you were mentioning there, on those Met second team players, given this opportunity in the jersey, many of them for the first time, really will want to stake a claim.
Well, you're a postgrad student at Cardiff Met. You and a Joe Town's Barmy Army. Tell me what the sort of last 5, 6, 7 days have been like in the build-up to this and the Cardiff Clash doubleheader.
There's always a special feeling around Kincoid campus in the run-up to Clash, especially with the fact that Met has performed so well in recent years against our cross-city rivals. And then this one, I think, is extra special, with it being the final game of the BUCS season before Christmas for the two sides. Generally leads to a pretty big night out. And there are not too many places around the country that are quite as good for a night out as Cardiff.
Where are you heading tonight? Revs tonight, is it?
I might actually be heading back to carry on working on my portfolio for hand-ins that I've got, but
I mean, that is quite possibly the saddest thing I've ever heard.
And I think that's a fairly understandable reaction to the tragic response that I have just given there.
Yeah, come on, man. When's the hand-in due?
2 days' time. So
that's bags of time. Look, if your Masters goes well and you end up getting the job in broadcast that you want to, then you too could find yourself one day eating macaroni and cheese that you brought from home with your bank card.
I mean, that is the kind of improvise, adapt, overcome that I think only a man who's recently become a dad for the second time would have to be finding himself in that kind of situation. I'm impressed.
This is Cardiff University's second replacement, Cleo Turley. After that offload that went forward, she took a bang to the nose, so she has been replaced by Rose Halstead. Real versatile player, Rose Halstead. Moved up to the front row last year. Now she's back in the back row. Good ball carrier, very physical. And can scrummage all over the place if she needs to.
7, up early. Got to bring it back down. Up early. Free kick, back.
But that's 2 injuries to key players in the first 10 minutes for Cardiff University. First Lowry Elias, and now Cleo Turley. Might just be a blood replacement though for Cleo. We'll keep you updated on that if we get any information.
Yeah, one of the more experienced players in this Cardiff University pack, so they certainly will be keen to get her back on the pitch.
Here's Caro Thomas. Oh, great offload by Thomas. She's a real asset to this team, and Lily Jones takes it up over halfway. Great leg drive from Jones. And when they go direct, they've had some success. Lovely delivery from Senak as well. Not a lot of direction to that kick, and they don't want to cough up too much ball to Cardiff Met, because when it comes back with interest. Craig. Numbers here for Met if they can get it there. Passes a little bit loose, still finds its way to Molly May Powell, Wales under 18.
No hands!
Might find her covering 9 as well, because there's not a recognised scrum half on the bench for Cardiff Met today. Tal Barnes wearing number 21, very much a 10, not a 9.
Roll!
It's another good snipe.
Backwards!
And both teams, they're finding ways to get gain line, they're finding ways to get in behind, and then it's the error, isn't it? It's the knock on, it's the forward pass that coughs up the opportunity, and then it's another cough up from Cardiff, this time an attacking opportunity for Met.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating for both sides out there that they just aren't able to string these phases together long enough to create a proper attacking opportunity, and you feel that probably the first score is actually going to come as a result of a mistake made by one side in defence rather than real creation by the attacking side.
And perhaps to settle the game as well.
More injury attention here for Cardiff University.
Well, they're dropping like flies, aren't they? Do you want the good news or the bad news?
Let's go with the good news, I think.
The good news is there's a commentary cam. The bad news is we've got to be on it. Hello! This is the commentary box at Cardiff Arms Park. We're in the same position that BBC or TNT or whoever was covering the Cardiff Rugby game, whether it's in the Challenge Cup or the URC, are here. And as you can see, the background is entirely luxurious. Bet you're glad you did your hair now, aren't you?
Set!
It's a good thing I was prepped for being on camera early on, yeah. It's an honour to be at a ground like this, just as it is for the players themselves.
Isn't it just? A lot of history here. Lovely carry there from Anwen Owen as Cardiff Met start to tiptoe around the 22. We've not had many entries into this gold zone. Can they make one count? Craig. Lovely bit of footwork. Fabulous by Paige Jones. Oh, that looked like it was knocked on, and it was. Molly Crabb just snatching at it. Isla Craig there, just running around like they'd won the penalty. Calm down, Isla.
Agonising for Met to finally be on the front foot in the red zone like that, but I am not surprised at all that it was Williams that got that attack moving in. The way she was powering through with multiple defenders on her. She had an excellent clash back in September, scoring 2 brilliant tries on the day. So wouldn't be surprised if she gets stuck in again today.
It's been a bit stop-start the game to begin with. Those injury breaks don't help. Bit of noise as well. I can see Santa hats, Christmas jumpers, and rugby supporters. That's not bad, is it?
That is pretty good. Yeah, I don't know whether that will come up on camera on this side.
We can certainly hear it. Oh, great feet. It's not a brilliant clearance kick, but it is a clearance kick, and Cardiff Met really turning the screw there with the defensive lift.
Yeah, they could certainly hear their support, and it's encourage them to put that pressure on in defence, force the rush kick, and Uni not able to clear their own lines.
Met inside the 22, that's overthrown, and Uni just about getting away with it. I mean, I know we've only just properly met. Oh, charged out into Caro Thomas's hands, and Thomas will always have a go. Makes some good meters. Senak. Again, the back rowers for Cardiff University having a little bit of joy. Plenty of bodies around there. It's chaotic around the breakdown. Harry Elias down there on the bench. She's moving around, which is good. Pretty terminal. Sturziker offloads a good one, then knocked on by Hetherington. And back in the hands of Amy Williams. Again, the knock-on advantage won't last long. Another direct carry straight over the top of Anna Davies. Page.
Advantage over!
Oh, ball over the top. Looks forward. Instead, it opens up for Molly May Powell to glide around the outside. The bouncing ball bamboozling Cardiff Uni.
Some afters as well. She's really enjoying that, is Molly May Powell, up from the bench where she was last week in the loss to Exeter, and taking her opportunity with both hands. A lovely run. Surprised that that pass wasn't caught by the ref or the assistant. Did certainly look forward to the two of us, but no review here. Abel.
Well, the Dragons youngster, the Wales under 18. It's the first half chance of the game, and she took full advantage. A lightning quick finish from Molly May Powell. Freya Bell taking her time. And perhaps that is the score that really sparks this game to life.
You've got to take your chances where they come. And picking a loose pass up and running it in just by the posts to put your team in the lead in front of some emphatic home support is certainly one way to do it.
I think Cardiff University can feel particularly hard done by, but Freya Bell, chance to add the extras. She does exactly that, splits the uprights. It's Met 7, University 0. And let's take another look at this now. Switch back the other way. Let's take a look at the key pass, the one that had us both scratching our heads. This one. That's only 6 or 7 metres forward.
She was under immense pressure to deliver it, Freya Bell, normally playing at 10 rather than 12. Did get hit hard afterwards. What a beautiful run in.
Yes, I'm just looking at which players are converted netballers, because you can get away with those kinds of passes in that sport. Either way, it is Cardiff Met 7, Cardiff University 0. And Isla Craig, she's kept things ticking over quite nicely, and there's a new pep in the step here of Cardiff Met. Anwen Owen up over the gain line. Straight through the middle goes Balkwell, and she's turned that ball over. Brilliant from Millie Balkwell. Rose Halstead, replacement for Cleo Turley, who went off clutching her nose. Hey. Oh, ripped. Brilliantly done. Caitlin Hubert over the ball as she runs onto her shoulder. The glory never lasts long in rugby union, does it? Great turnover, then absolutely walloped. Cardiff sniffing around the turnover themselves, but Craig can get there, and Marlowe. She finds Webster. Another one that looked questionable as to whether or not it was forward, but it was knocked on off the bootstraps, and we'll have a set scrum on halfway.
Yeah, chance for Cardiff Uni to gather themselves here. They need to make sure that Met don't bounce on too fast after that opening score. Chance to set a platform around halfway. The scrum's been fairly stable so far.
Go!
Yeah, Met have tried to get the shovel, haven't they? There's a slight advantage there, but nothing to upset the referee enough to put the whistle to the lips. Senak, she's got Eva Lewis at first receiver now, and then coming back the other way is Sturzica. Another excellent run. Great line, and Senak had to work hard to get that ball. Liv Price.
Off your feet, 15, leave it.
Crashes on. Hey, little nudge in behind. That's one for Hetherington to chase, but well dealt with for the time being. Emily Hay swings the jersey down, and this is the first time Met have really been under any pressure in their own 22. That was Paige Jones taking it to ground. Hubert the next to go, fresh off the back of that turnover. Lovely little dip of the shoulder and a good clearance kick. Brilliant clearance kick, in fact, well played.
I mean, that's textbook stuff from Met there, the way they have dealt with that challenging kick through, which did just keep running away from Marnie George. But she gathered it, and they went through their exit strategy to a T, and a reasonable clearing kick.
Well, another half a gap opening up.
Hey, throw!
Emily Hay looking to take advantage of it. Poppy Ellis told to get out of the way. Oh, and that's bounced into the hands of Bolkwell. Bolkwell finds Caro Thomas. Thomas, what a tackle. Try saving tackle on Caro Thomas. Sturzica places that ball back long. There's not a lot of space up that short side, and Lily Jones might have to check back in the other direction. Sarah Webster just loses her footing, searching for that turnover. Liv Price offloads to Bateman. Oh, loose ball.
Ball's out. No hands, no hands.
Real bun fight for it, and Cardiff Met have turned that over. But they are probing here. Cardiff University, but now Met with a bit of space. The counter-attack. Caro Thomas unable to enact that turnover. And Owen covers it up. Cookie. Says she likes to be called Cookie. One name, like a Brazilian footballer.
That's how I was introduced to her. It's how I knew her the whole time until I saw her name on a team sheet.
She's starting on the tight head side today. No. Maisie Davis. So Katie Carr has switched from tight head to loose head. Seeing a little bit more of that in the women's game. Props that are able to go both sides.
Versatility so key, especially when you're going to get different chances with your university team as to potentially then moving up to Gwalia or Brithom.
What another good tackle. Bolkwell opens the cat flap. We did say some of these backline players were going to have to go to work, but it's Met who go to work. Jackal turnover's good. It's getting tasty, and it's Rose Halstead for Cardiff Uni, who is always at the coalface.
Yeah, I think it was Molly May Powell once again on the Met side, so sure we'll see more from the two of them as the match goes on.
Bit of Derby Day needle. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I know Burnsy's a big fan of that stuff as well.
I wouldn't be surprised though if they're sharing a beer later on at Proud Mary's in town. And
Proud Mary's is the place, is it? All right, good to know. Do live music there, don't they?
I think they do, yeah. Yeah, but it has actually changed names recently, but I don't think anyone's going to remember the new name.
Here come Cardiff Met, looking for try number 2. Back in and around the 22. It's a good ball this, Ryla Craig, with options as well. Orla Davis finds Cookie. Cookie goes, leg drive from Cookie. Oh, one more offload would have done it there for Met. Still might happen. Space on the right-hand side. Williams helps it on, and Marnie George is in at the corner.
Try number 2 for Cardiff Met, 1 for each winger so far. Their wingers did the damage last time against Cardiff Uni, and it might be 2 different names in the 11 and 14 shirts today, but they are proving just as threatening for the Archers.
Well, they found a way to get in behind here, and one thing both teams have struggled with is quick ball, but Cardiff Met, once they got that quick, oh, the offload there would have done it, wouldn't it? But great composure here, particularly from Amy Williams.
Yeah, really calm distribution from a woman more used to playing on the flank herself and receiving that pass to cross the line. But a bit of a playmaker there, doing it well.
"23 minutes gone. Cardiff Met 12, Cardiff University 0. And another injury here for Cardiff Uni, and we were just talking about it. That's Rose Halstead who's making her way off. She was the replacement for Cleo Turley. As that kick doesn't travel the post, so it remains 12-0.
That is a shame not to see it going off. Not only obviously the injury and the fact that Uni seem to be going through their players like stocking presents at the moment, but also for the fact that there was that little bit of edge coming into the game. Would have been an interesting story to watch unravel.
There are 15 on the pitch here for Cardiff Uni. Just taking a look to see who's come on to replace Marnie and whether or not that is Cleo Turley, who went off clutching her nose and wearing number 6. We'll see now because they'll pack down at the scrum.
Yeah, she is back on.
Yeah, she's back on. Patched her up.
Crow!
A broken nose will not stop these women's BUCS Super Rugby players.
Set!
Silly game, you know. But great that she's back on, and I'm sure we'll see Rose Halstead recharge the batteries and come firing back out in the second half.
We were starting to see Met make a bit of a move in the scrum there. You mentioned earlier on that they had a bit of a weight advantage in the pack, and they are starting to make that known to Cardiff University.
Bind!
It's been a pretty decent contest, hasn't it? Neither team has had many gilt-edged opportunities. Cardiff Met have been the more clinical of the two. Good bit of field position here, though, for University, and Eva Lewis. Caro Thomas, again direct. She seems to accelerate just as she gets to the shoulder of the tackler. Zoe Delplas, the French lock forward. Senac. Anna Davies, the tight head. Again, Cardiff Met trying to get hands in there, but not supporting the body weight. And then someone not rolling away.
The counter ruck work at the breakdown from both teams has been really good so far. We've seen a lot of turnovers. That time working against Met, so they'll need to get back to their more disciplined ways.
Well, Cardiff Uni just want to keep playing here. They've gone for the tap and go, and Liv Price having another strong carry. This is close as University have been. Senac drilled out to the edge, and Sturzica hands over the ball here, and Met win the penalty. Fantastic turnover. Try-saving turnover. It remains 12-0.
Clutch play from Cardiff Met. Each time that Uni have looked to knock on the door and cross the whitewash, Met have been there in one way or another to close it down and keep Uni on their nil scoreline at the moment.
And another tidy touch finder. It's a good game, this.
It is. Two relatively evenly matched teams. I mean, the difference between the two of them and their fortunes through the season, their points on the BUCS Super Rugby table, quite stark, but not so much in the game so far, which is certainly what the crowd will have wanted to see.
You can have the conversation around psychology then, can't you? Because winning is a habit, losing is a habit. Is there belief in this Cardiff University team that they can get something from a match like this?
Well, if there's any match that you're going to get something from, your cross-city rivals just before Christmas. That's the one.
Doing well to stay in field there. I've had a little bit of joy on the edge. Is there some joy through the middle here? Short ball from Nicole Marlowe, a nice one. Okay, Craig keeps things ticking over. And then stop-go from Ellis. Does well to free the hands. Bit of zip about this as well. I think that could have potentially gone.
High tackle, penalty advantage.
But they have got the penalty advantage here. Cardiff Met slipping up a little bit on the high tackle. Not malicious, just a little bit lackadaisical. And that'll cost you. Oh, it's gone backwards off the hands of Eva Lewis, so we'll go back for the penalty.
Nice position here for a kick to touch. I imagine that we're going to see Freya Bell step up and take this one. No, it is actually Nicole Marlowe, who's in Bell's 10 jersey today, with Bell moving to inside centre. She takes the punt for touch, and it's going to be just on the 22.
Take the line, take the line.
Two midfield playmakers, though, gives you all manner of options. Other than the one wobble, the line-up been pretty good for Cardiff Met so far. And Cross, she's overthrown it again, Crab, but it's come back to Craig. That was high as well. Or is it? No. Oh, referee happy enough to let this turnover ball play out. Knock-on advantage doesn't last long. This is a good battle for the ball.
Some more now.
And Met have created the maul. If they take this to ground, they'll turn this ball over. Well played, Cardiff Met. That was that Nicole Marlowe who got herself on that ball, or Isla Craig?
Guys, scrum. Okay, then? Yeah.
Again, for Cardiff Uni, they've got to be frustrated with that. It was good pressure put on at the line out, which has probably been one of the areas where Met are struggling a little bit at the moment. As you mentioned, a couple of overthrows there. They were managing to counter-attack well, using that space over to the left-hand side, but held up, and Met once again with a scrum.
Well, that was the much talked about Rose Halstead. We just saw her coming back up the tunnel, so she has been looked at. The medical staff have been busy.
She looked to be putting an ice pack on her head as she came through, so potentially she'd gone for an HIA.
That is very well held by Amy Williams. And the offload is a beauty. Here goes Marlowe into the 22. She's got Molly May Powell outside her instead. Finds Amy Williams again. Met keeping the ball alive. Williams powerful in the contact zone. And Poppy Ellis 2 meters short. Oh, no clear release. And Jones wants to go. Oh, she nearly got turned over there, did Jones. Poppy Ellis asking for a latch. And taking Cardiff Met to within a metre. Searching for try number 3 here. Hubert, the next to go. Hubert stopped just short. Now a little bit of width on it. They're queuing up on the right-hand side. And Anwen Owen goes over for Cardiff Met. Again, composure in the 22, turning the screw when they need to, and disappearing out of sight in this Cardiff Clash.
Not much to choose between the two teams when they're around the centre of the park, but in terms of execution in the 22, it is Cardiff Met who are taking their opportunities, in stark contrast to University. Anwen Owen moving from 12 to 13 this week, and taking the role of try scorer and attacking runner with both hands. Lovely try, and another tricky kick though for Freya Bell to try and convert.
What I like about that, and we'll see it on the replay, is so often teams, when they get in that position, they pick and go and pick and go and pick and go and pick and go, and they wait for the penalty advantage before they play. But there was none of that with Cardiff Met then. Isla Craig saw that it was on the right-hand side, pushed the forwards out the way, get it into the hands, get it into the speed, and score that try.
And that's what you want to see, is that heads-up, positive play. And what it means is that Cardiff Met have the best part of 50 minutes to score one more try to get the bonus point.
Flag stay down. Cardiff Met 17, Cardiff University 0. 8 minutes to go until half-time. Let's take another look at this. It was brave to go for the tap and go, to ignore the set piece. And then after they let the big trucks go for a while, Isla Craig decides, no, we're going wide. We're getting a meat pie.
Good decision-making, and Met reaping the benefits from it. these players have been given their chance in the ones, normally in the twos, are
Captain.
really enjoying themselves out there now.
Scrum.
You a big milk guy?
For sponsorship purposes, I'll say, yeah, I switched to oat, but...
No, no, we don't do that. We're big dairy guys here. And of course, BUCS Super Rugby in association with milk. We like to milk every moment. Milk. Very proud of our partnership with BUCS Super Rugby.
Sit.
And milk are really keen for young athletes, old athletes, particularly student athletes, to reap the benefits of being milk drinkers. And we're absolutely delighted that the BUCS Super Rugby finals are going to be the BUCS Super Rugby Milk Championship finals at Rodney Parade later in the year. And maybe one of these teams might be a part of that massive celebration of rugby. Oh, that's been knocked on. Oat milk. I've never had anything so ridiculous in my life. Does oat milk make your bones stronger? I didn't think so.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't want to drink a glass of oat milk on its own.
No!
You wouldn't want to dunk your biscuits.
Absolutely not.
And you can't leave a glass of oat milk out for Santa, can you?
Correct. Oh, I'm so glad you made it festive. Just over 5 minutes to go until half-time. Cardiff University played some good rugby, but they find themselves 3 scores down here at the Arms Park. A clinical Cardiff Met. Across the whitewash 3 times. Marnie George, Anwen Owen, Molly May Powell.
14, not rolling.
But they've got themselves in good positions on more than one occasion. They picked up a penalty here, and can they get something on the board before half-time?
They'll have wanted more from that touch finder, though. Just heard it on the ref's mic being scuffed off the side of the boot. And so they will be short of the red zone for this line-out throw.
But they are in the Cardiff Met half. Can they find a way to stress this Met defence through Emily Harew? Finds Sturzica. Sturzica finds her centre partner, Bolt Well, Caro Thomas. It's already been called, so they'll cross the line, but it won't count. And do you know what the great news is? The AR on this side does know what a forward pass looks like.
I mean, tough break that for Cardiff Uni. You'd think Met had been allowed one, surely Uni could have. And it was building so nicely. It would have been a lovely opportunity for Jones to score under the post at the Arms Park in front of Cardiff Uni supporters on the far side. But they're pulled back, and a Met defensive scrum inside their 22.
Been quite impressed with the way that that Cardiff Uni have carried, actually. It's the first time I've really seen them this season get on the front foot, get gain line, be able to go through the phases, but it's always that error, isn't it? Little knock on, little forward pass, little something.
But they are dangerous. Each time they get just a little bit of space to run into, and you almost wonder that record-breaking score just off the kickoff the other week, how much confidence that will actually have given their backs, that with ball in hand, they can run, they can break tackles, and they can find their way to the try line.
So I was thinking about milk the other day, because BUCS Super Rugby is literally constantly on my mind. And one thing I've noticed, because we talk about the affordable fuel, really, particularly if you're a student, very often finding ways to get the right stuff in your body is tough. So you've got your calcium, you've got your protein. Oh, Thomas keeps that in and keeps it in well. But there's such little difference between like buying a 4-pinter and a 2-pinter.
Leave it, leave it.
Yeah, big milk guys.
It's a tackle. No hands, you've lost it.
One thing I would also point out is that you don't seem to be able to get the 4 pints of oat milk or
No.
any other milk alternative.
No. Whoa. Big line speed there from Cardiff Met, not leaving gaps but really putting pressure on the passing channels of Cardiff University. But you've got to make your tackles as Liv Price strides away. Another great galloping carry from the lock forward. The club president doing a fabulous job.
You said you got to make your tackles, and Williams made an absolutely excellent one there at 15 for Met. Often you see a fullback start to lift a lock off the ground.
Time's off. Time's off.
There's another player down for injury. There is an enormous
30 seconds.
member of medical staff who's blocking who it is at the moment, so I can't tell you who it is, but I can tell you it's a Cardiff Met player. The referee just confirming 30 seconds to go
30 seconds left on the clock. Okay?
until half time. So one last attacking platform here for Cardiff Met, for Cardiff University to try and get a score. Look, I think Cardiff Met have shaded this first half, but it certainly doesn't feel like a 3-score game, does it?
It doesn't at all, no, and I can understand why Cardiff Uni going in at half-time, if they don't manage to get something here, will feel fairly aggrieved, because they have shown some real glimpses of attacking threat, and they were, especially in that first 20 minutes, they were going toe-to-toe with Met in basically every aspect of the game. It's just they've not been able to turn those chances into tries.
Time's still off. Time's still
Well,
off.
this is part 1 of the Cardiff Clash.
Time's still off.
Part 2 kicks off at 7 o'clock. It's the men's game. Again, Cardiff University versus Cardiff Met.
Time's back on now.
Serious rivalry. And some serious celebration starters. So I was driving through Cardiff earlier on my way here. A lot of Christmas jumpers and a lot of chinos underneath them, and I can only assume that they were the supporters who weren't involved today, the club members who were gearing up for a brilliant evening. And that's another excellent line. It's been a really impressive part of Cardiff's game, but this has been a really impressive part of Met's game, coming up with those massive turnovers. And that should take us through to half-time. And it does. Sent to the touchline by Nicole Marlowe. And Cardiff Met will head to the sheds, the happier of the two teams. An excellent battle, an excellent contest, but perhaps not necessarily a surprise to anyone. It's Cardiff Met that lead at half-time. 3 tries, 1 conversion. It's 17 points to 0. Well, as the players head into a little bit of warmth, because it's absolutely freezing here, let's take a look at the best bits. The tries from the first half. At the opener here, an excellent finish, but perhaps a little bit of controversy as to how the ball got there.
Yeah, and there wasn't actually much protest on the field at the time from Cardiff Uni, so I'm not sure how many of them were in a position to see that the pass was forward. We may well get some complaints coming through afterwards, and that's actually where the scrap started between Halstead and Molly May Powell, I think.
I wonder if that's why it started. I wonder. They don't usually need an excuse to light the tinderbox. This was the second. You talked about the success that Cardiff Met had on the edge in the first Cardiff Clash. It's both wingers there. It was an excellent finish from George to get the ball there. And this was the third try. And again, this perhaps the most impressive one because of the decision-making and the composure in the gold zone.
Yeah, as you say, so many teams that just pick and go. And it kind of felt like Cardiff Uni were almost a little bit complacent that that's obviously what Met were going to do. So there was nobody out on that far touchline for Cardiff Uni. Acres of space, and try scored easily.
Well, the crowd building up here And let's take a look at what we've got to look forward to in the new year. Well, not just the new year. Later on today, Cardiff Met versus Cardiff University kicks off at 7 p.m. Join us a little bit before that. Myself and Burnsy will be getting in the festive cheer. We've got a surprise guest as well. But for those of you who are fans of Cardiff Met, Cardiff Rugby, then make sure you tune in, because we'll be hearing from a Cardiff Clash legend. Then we kick things off on the 22nd of January, post-Christmas, as we look forward to 2025. Swansea versus Hartpury is where we go first. And then on the 5th of February, which incidentally is my mum's birthday, it's Exeter versus Bath. So we are heading to South Wales, to Swansea, and then to deepest, darkest Devon, to what promises to be an absolute cracker. And before we talk about Exeter and their form, or lack thereof, we're going to hear from Super Seren Singleton. Speaking of Cardiff Met legends, this is what she had to say.
Welcome to Off the Pitch. On this episode, I took a trip to the Welsh capital and to Cardiff Met University. Seren Singleton speaks to me about the difficulties in juggling her PGC as well as a prospering rugby career. The Archer discusses all things Celtic Challenge, Wales Under-20s, as well as the Archer's aims for the season. Okay, Seren, we're here, we're at King Coyd, and I think, first of all, just talk to us about your experience at Cardiff Met University.
Yeah, so I graduated from my undergrad in the summer just gone. I did PE, and now this year I've enrolled on a PGC primary course.
Bit full on.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing this year. So, yeah, I'm quite flat out at the moment.
Flat out.
Yeah.
And what is it like when you join Cardiff Met, you come to this university obviously to do PE, and you join the women's rugby team? What was that like? Is rugby something that's always been around for you, or?
No, not really. So, before coming to uni, I previously played rugby for a year.
Okay.
I came to uni and it was either going to play netball or rugby, and I thought I'll choose one. So I chose rugby.
Made the right choice?
Yeah, and since then I've just had so many opportunities, and I've had such a great experience here in Met.
I think, so what is that like? You come down, you've played for a year, and you come down to your first training session.
Yeah.
What's that experience like?
I think for me in first year it was really difficult because there wasn't as many Welsh girls, believe it or not, in Met. I think I was one of like two.
Oh.
So it was a lot of English girls, some girls from overseas. So I think I knew like one person. So yeah, it was quite hard to, it was intimidating and to fit in, but all the girls were so welcoming, and yeah, from then on I just thrived in the environment.
And you briefly mentioned about the opportunities that you've had through playing rugby.
Yeah.
Celtic Challenge last year.
Yeah.
Talk to us a bit about that. Like, obviously that happened through March, through the university semester.
Yeah.
How supportive were Met, and what was that experience like?
Yeah, no, I think, well, it was great to have so many girls firstly involved in the Celtic Challenge from Met. So, we all had experience playing together. And then obviously for training and stuff, like we could all share lifts. And it was a really easy environment to settle in because we knew so many girls, and I think then with obviously you had some of the Welsh girls involved with it just kind of made the environment a lot more settling for the girls because they knew people, and
just a lot more welcoming.
Welcoming.
Obviously you were in and amongst the Bristol Bears throughout the PWUP series. Just sort of give us a taste of what that was like.
Yeah, I think, well, I obviously played the Under-20 Six Nations. From that then I had a phone call with Dave, who was the Bristol Bears head coach, and he was basically like really impressed, and we'd like you to come down and do some pre-season with Bears and all that. But I was doing pre-season with the seniors at the time, so I missed out on that pre-season with Bears. But then eventually I did end up going up to a few training sessions and played like a friendly. But it was tough for me now because obviously my PGC, the commitments for training and travelling and everything was a lot. So that's kind of on hold at the moment.
On hold at the moment.
But
I think that that sings to the point of that you are a university student.
Yeah.
And there are these challenges that you'll always face, and there'll always be that barrier of PGC one side, Bears calling your name the other side, and that line of which way to take.
Yeah, but I think being in the environment and in the setup and training with girls, they're obviously like Amber Reid and players like that, like you can just learn so much from being in that environment. Yeah, so
what's it like going from a session at King Coyd to a session at Bristol Bears?
I mean, yeah, it's so different. One, I don't really know many of the girls.
Yeah.
And then obviously a lot of the girls are 20s England girls, so it's like you obviously have that rivalry with them. And then you turn up and you have to train with them. But at the end of the day, we're all there to get better, so
yeah. And you
support each other.
Mentioned there about obviously rivalries with England. Under 26 Nations was a success for yourself, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're not bad.
Not bad, not bad. Talk to me about Italy and talk to me about that summer. It must have been, like, as a Welsh girl playing for Wales, like, what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, every time you put on that Welsh shirt, whether it's 7s or 20s or anything, it's always such a special moment. But I think with the pathway and the way it's developing, like the Welsh game is just growing so much. So I think, you know, it was a great experience to be a part of the first ever under-20s Six Nations tournament. Yeah, it was great.
And what are your aspirations with Wales? Like, have you still got? Obviously, you talk about how busy you are. Is there still a fire burning to go on and do more with Wales?
Yeah, obviously, of course. If I get that opportunity again, then yeah, it's something that I would love to do. But at the moment, it's more
career head is on.
Focus on my teaching degree, and then when that's done, I can. Yeah,
if opportunities arise, they do. And I think on that, we've obviously you've got that Cardiff Met shirt on at the moment. What are your team goals as a team? What does success look like come February, April, May, March next year?
I think for us, finishing 4th and maybe a home semi-final would be the best outcome for us. Yeah, so I think that's our biggest goal now, is to just focus on getting that. And
personally, you've hit 2 WNL Team of the Seasons.
Yeah.
Are we looking at a third? You sit down at the end of the year, finished your PGC and you're looking at your rugby season. What does Seren think is a successful season?
I mean, I never expect to win it these last 2 years, like I didn't. But I mean, it'd be great if I did win it again, but it's not something that I ever think about. I always put the team first, and you know, we always want to win. But yeah, if that happens, it happens. But
do you set yourself any, like, do you have any goals for the season? Like personal goals?
For me, it's just constantly just developing as a player and stepping to that next
level. Making sure this year is always better than last year.
Yeah.
And moving forward. Perfect. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. And we hope to see you either in a classroom or on a rugby field sometime soon.
Yeah.
Right, someone's on open mic. I don't know who.
Great to hear from Seren Singleton, and great to see Tom Featherstone as well. If you have looked at some great photos on BUCS Super Rugby men's and women's in the last few months, then it's highly likely that he took them. I mean, thankfully, we don't get to see that horrendous mullet in front of camera very often, but great job, great interview, and great to hear from one of the stars of women's BUCS Super Rugby, and of course the Wales age group programmes as well. Cardiff University trailing 17-0. They're going to kick us off in this second half. They need the first score to try and make a game of this. Welcome back, everybody, to BUCS Super Rugby live from the Arms Park. And Cardiff Met on the ball, casting an eye across. Don't appear to have been any changes at half-time. Couple of enforced changes for Cardiff University. Larry Elias went off early. She was replaced by Lucy Senack, and then we had Rose Halstead replacing Cleo Turley, but since then Turley has returned. Cardiff Uni turning that ball over early.
You're fine. Go back.
And a good scrum platform to launch their first attack of the second half.
Yeah, certainly is, and they will be meaning to continue as they left off in that first half. 3 tries in the opening 40, just as they got in the September iteration of the Cardiff Clash, and they kicked on from there, ending up 57-0 victors. So if they can have a similar second half today, then the floodgates will well and truly have opened for them.
I think Cardiff University would be bitterly disappointed if that happened again. That ball spitting out, and Senak, knocked on. Oh. Wasn't a very sympathetic pass from Senak, and just asking a lot of the players. Been impressed with the line speed of Met, though.
Certainly something they'll have been working on in training, and it shows that the performance levels in the first team are the performance levels that are required throughout the club, a club that is growing, and as we were talking about earlier on the cusp of having a third team as well, which is great to see the growth of women's rugby at
It's
Cardiff
also,
Met.
I mean, the second team, bearing in mind, they've had a lot of players from the second team who've been called up into the first team. They were still successful in Bath today. And the fact that they're thinking about putting out a third team next year is a real testament to the effort that goes into this women's programme, as that's pumped down the channel there by Amy Williams. Taken well. So Chloe Hill has come on for Cardiff Uni, brand new, a fresher. She's a former England touch rugby player. I know that you're a big believer in the versions of the game that use a little bit less contact. We'll talk more on that later, because Cardiff Met coming forward to Anna Davis, surging into the 22. And a good attacking platform here for Cardiff Met. Daisy Bateman the next to go. Apologies, Katie Carr. And then Carr finds Cookie. And then Craig. Another fabulous line. Getting in behind. They just want to try and get quick ball off the back of those, and Cardiff Uni doing to Cardiff Met what they did. So let's talk about that then, because we've got a couple of touch players involved, and you were heavily involved with tag rugby. That you're not gonna bring back the biff playing tag rugby, but you're certainly going to improve your core skills and become a better rugby player being involved in those parts of the game.
Yeah, I think previously, in years gone by, rugby union had a bit of a dim attitude towards touch and tag, but actually the crossover skills, your reading of the game, your spatial awareness, your passing and distribution, they're all skills that you really hone in touch and tag, and then they make you a better union player as a result.
Also fitness and conditioning as well. My goodness me, you will put in some fast meters if you play either touch or tag to any level, won't you?
You definitely will. It's not too far away from sevens in terms of the kind of the interval type of fitness that's required. Sprint and back and repeat that again and again. So if any union player that goes off to play touch or tag for a bit, they will come back more game aware and better conditioned for their union.
So if you were a rugby union player who wanted to go and play tag rugby now, how would you go about it?
So tag rugby is massive in terms of running tag leagues around the country, whether that's London, Manchester, Yorkshire, and they're looking at expanding to Cardiff in short order. So that's probably your best way into the game, and then onto the great breading pathways that are available from there.
International rugby, here we go. And here come Cardiff Met, step by Freya Bell, lovely feet by Bell. Brought down by her opposite number, Boltwell, but Met knocking on the door here, looking for that bonus point try at the start of the second half. Owen the next to go. She's a try scorer already. Jones, great strength from Jones. Just a metre to go here for Cardiff Met. Carr, so close. Another go from short range, just short. Referee in a great spot to look for this grounding. Oh, another fabulous tackle. How much longer can Cardiff University hold out for? Isla Craig digs. Oh, what a shot! Unbelievable. Hetherington empties Marlow. That's the tackle of the season. But the fourth try is forthcoming. It's from short range, and the bonus point is in the bag in this Christmas clash for Cardiff.
That was looking like a stunning goal line stand from Cardiff University. And as you say, that hit that came in from Hetherington, it shook us up here. But the Cardiff Met supporters, they got behind their team and they powered Webster over the line.
Yeah, Seren Webster bundles over from short range. Oh, Hetherington. What a tackle. That might be my favourite tackle I've ever seen in BUCS Super Rugby Women's.
Clip that up. Get it out on socials. What an advert for women's BUCS Super Rugby that is. An incredible hit.
Well, what we were just talking about, the physicality of touch and tag compared to contact. Well, we've just seen it in one monstrous shot there.
Yeah, that is the contrast between the two. If you want to play and you want to pass and distribute and run, touch and tag, yes. If you want to be able to hit people like that legally, it is women's BUCS Super Rugby for you.
That's another kickoff that hasn't gone 10 for Cardiff University.
Captain!
Those are those fundamental skills that you really need to have worked on in training, hour after hour, time after time, to make sure you can execute. It is not good enough at this level to be giving your opposition ball centre field whenever they've just crossed the line.
Burnsy's back. He's been in and around the place. He'll be getting in the mix actually post-match. Make sure you stick with us when the full-time whistle goes. We'll be hearing from the player of the match as well as the winning coach, maybe even the losing coach too. Depends if we can lasso them in or not. Met coming again. I think they're smelling blood now. Lovely ball and lovely handling. It's a good take over there on the left-hand side. Molly Maypowell, Dragons age group player. Another fabulous turnover. Over the ball goes Gabby Della Savina. She's been one of the standout players for Cardiff Uni. She's averaging nearly 20 tackles a game, which is some effort. Admittedly, Cardiff Uni perhaps having to make a few more tackles than some other teams in WBSR, but Gabby Della Savina, serious player. She played in the varsity last season as a fresher. Oh, by the way, you're on player of the match duty.
Noted. There's certainly some contenders already from the Met ranks. So let's see whether a chance for some players from Cardiff Uni to step up and give themselves a chance.
So we've got a little while yet, but on about 74, 75 minutes, I'll ask you for the nominees. It could be like the Oscars, and then we'll do the big reveal towards the end. Sturzica. Someone who's relatively new to rugby. She just looks so composed in and around that contact area.
Absolute natural. She has caused some threats to the Met line through the evening so far.
She's got a hatful of tries in that varsity. Got player of the match and interviewed her after the game, and she's like, yeah, just really enjoying my rugby. I'm like, well, we're really enjoying watching you play as well. So we'll see if she kicks on, if there are some opportunities for her beyond the university game.
I mean, it's just a totally different landscape for women involved in BUCS Super Rugby to how it was even 10 years ago.
Less than that. It's incredible. Right, Cardiff Uni with a bit of position here. Can they do something with it? Bulkwell spits that one out the back. Emily Hay takes it on, tackled by her opposite number Marlowe's. Bells are probably still ringing from that shot from Hetherington. Sturzica, here she is. Lovely offload by Sturzica. Oh, it needed one more. Looking for quick ball. Zoe Del Plas. Oh, they're over that. Cardiff Met. Could be, should be, is a penalty. Poppy Ellis gets down low. In fact, it wasn't Ellis at all, it was Seren Webster. Another key intervention, that's one at either end of the pitch for her now.
An all-round player, and that's what you need in your blindside flanker. But just feel that Cardiff Uni deserved more there. That was a really nice half break. Just no supporting runners to be able to get the ball out to.
Met have gone quickly here inside their own 22. We admire ambition.
Against convention, just like the try they scored out wide when they might otherwise have gone for the pick and go.
That's been touched in the air. Picked up by Chloe Hill, that touch rugby player that we were talking about that sparked that discussion.
There, I feel that's just a little bit of Cardiff Uni being tired and having to backtrack all that way up to halfway. Not enough support there, and able to be muscled out over the touchline. Met's possession at the line out once again.
Cardiff Uni are readying some replacements, one in the forwards, one in the backs. That ball comes nice and clean off the top. Webster.
Whoa.
There's a 2-on-1 here, but instead Williams steps inside. Good acceleration up over halfway. Marnie George takes it off her hands. Cleo Turley sticks her head in, but is driven off it well. Gabby Della Savina, perhaps lucky to get away with that. She was lying on the wrong side, then interfered with Isla Craig. It's cost them the penalty, but no further action. And here comes some changes for Cardiff University. Rebecca Watts comes on at hooker, formerly involved with the Bristol Bears Centre of Excellence, and Sophie MacDonald wearing number 22, an England under-18. Former Harlequin Centre of Excellence as well. She's a fresher, given her opportunity here at Cardiff Arms Park.
Expect to see some changes on the way for Met as well. All three of their front rowers hitting the tackle pads on the sidelines.
Oh, they're going full bomb squad, aren't they? 16, 17, 18, 19. All revving the engines.
Looking for Razzie Erasmus.
Yeah, he's got a lot to answer for, Razzie Erasmus. Who knew that he would have an influence on university women's rugby? Certainly not him, I'd wager. It's Cardiff Met, one try deep in this second half. Katie Carr, the Wales under-20, props on both sides, and she carries well too, as does Paige Jones. Williams, little step off the foot there by Anwyn Owen. Lovely carry by Owen. Just gliding through Cardiff University defenders. Tip on to Carr. What a turnover. Has to be. Referee.
Wow. Really surprised about that one.
Marlowe. Ball inside. Freya Bell. Oh, good feet from Bell. Gets past Millie Balkwell. Feels a little bit like Cardiff University are hanging on a bit here. Cleo Turley gets rewarded this time.
Hanging on they were, and hanging on they have done. That is an excellent penalty to get at the breakdown, and no more than they deserved after not getting the call just 30 seconds before, when it looked for all money like they pulled the ball out of the ruck and were able to go away with it.
A little bit of cup final cramp. Here comes the bomb squad, the full front row and the lock. So Molly Thomas, Emily Joyce, Ellen Jones and Rose Walker all coming into the game. 25 minutes to make an impression.
Rose Walker, one of a couple of players in this side who are studying policing.
Professional policing.
Professional policing, indeed, yeah.
So begging the question, what is amateur policing?
Well, I suppose, is that just being a bit of an annoying nose on a night out and say, no, you shouldn't do that. You've had enough bites.
It's interesting that though, policing at a degree.
Take a step.
Well, this line-out's a mess.
Met, step back.
Claudia Harrison getting an absolute earful from those Cardiff Met ultras behind her. And then Del Plas tidies things up. Oof, that wasn't particularly tidy, but it was good footing from Turley. It needed to be as well. 15 minutes of this second half gone. Just Seren Rebs to try. Added to the total as George glides past the defender. And another, and she's got support in the form of Amy Williams. Williams hits the afterburners. Amy Williams, what a score! Amy Williams lights up the Arms Park with a Cardiff Clash special.
It was only a matter of time. You cannot keep a player of her quality out. 2 tries in this fixture in September and another one now to add to her record. That was already good go forward from Cardiff Met, but she still had a lot to do when she got her hands on the ball, weaved one way and then the other. The space opened up in front of her and she was able to gallop her way over the whitewash.
Well, where was the space? Absolutely remarkable finish, and it looked like there were so many red jerseys to bring her down, but no one laid a glove on Amy Williams. And that is the kind of form that earned her the call-up to the Wales under-20s.
So crucial for Met when they've got such a number of players in the side that have come up from the seconds, to still have players like Williams with that experience, with that game nous.
So let's take a look at this then. We talked about the experience in the back three. It was George who beat the first defenders, but Williams, making mincemeat of defenders.
I'd say there was 5 or 6 players there that got within an arm's length of Williams, but not one of them had the pace to match. And I think even if they had got a hand on her, she's got such strength that she would have busted through those tackles.
Well, this is starting to be a tough evening for Cardiff University, and it certainly hasn't been for lack of effort or lack of quality. They've just been undone by a more clinical team. Still over 20 minutes of this one to go as well, as this could turn into half a chance. There a tackle off the ball there. No, we're just going to go back for the knock on.
Let's go, girls. Let's go.
Time off. Time off.
It's our first scrum with this new front row. So Elan Jones on the tight head side. Emily Joyce, who loves scrum time. Before the game, we asked the players to fill in details about themselves. Hers is just love scrums. And then Molly Thomas packing down in the middle. So what's your experience been with the professional policing students at Cardiff Met then?
I actually haven't come across many of them, except to see it on forums like this where people say they're studying it. We interestingly, in the flat I'm living in, had someone moving in who was studying it. She left a note introducing herself, saying that was the course she was doing, that she was going away for the weekend but would be back. We never saw sight nor sound of her again.
Oh.
I don't know whether she's on an undercover sting operation.
I've watched too much Line of Duty. Did she leave the note in one of those little black flip-top notebooks?
Crouch!
Wow, so she just never came back.
No, I don't know what it was about us, but having not met us, she didn't want to move in.
Oh, big scrum. Big scrum, but University, and in particular Lily Jones, do well to control that ball. Forward it goes, Anna Davies.
No,
covers front row, covers back row. And then cross field by Emily Hay. Not really asking a lot of questions with that kicking game though. Molly May Powell runs into Caro Thomas. And then Craig gets there. She's put a lot of meters in today, Isla Craig, isn't she? The offload game starting to work well, though. Molly Thomas. Strong from Thomas. Craig gets there quickly. Hubert.
18!
That's more like it, kick-wise. And a good chase as well for Chloe Hill to get swallowed up. Good pick-up by McDonald. Under pressure, Sophie McDonald.
Yeah, Paige Jones was coming herring in, looking to get herself over that ball. So I think the offload off the ground there was actually essential in ensuring that Cardiff Uni were able to keep hold of that ball.
It's a little knock-on spotted there by Cardiff Met. The referee was signalling.
Maybe that came in that offload. Maybe Jones's hand just coming over the top. Tapped the ball.
Yeah, she revved the engine for a long way out, didn't she?
Not bad work, right, for a second row at this point in the game.
Met penalty.
Bomb squad.
Well, we saw it immediately, didn't we? The first scrum really pushed Cardiff Uni back. The second scrum wins a penalty. And the referee just signalling there that it was a knee down on the tight head side.
Met are going to turn the screw here, go for the kick to touch.
Well, they've got to try and put this one to bed now, haven't they? It's 29-0, which, as we've previously discussed, is it's quite tough on Cardiff University, who've been largely competitive for big strains of this game, and they're changing their front row themselves now. Evie Guy coming in. She's a hooker previously. She's going to be on the loose head side, and Em Hayward, another one who props both sides, covers lock, whatever they need from her in the pack, but she's going to be moving into the tight head.
Scrum or line out?
Former footballer, in fact, used to captain the Cardiff University football team before switching to rugby union.
Scrum? Captain, scrum called? Yeah.
And having changed the props, they're immediately going to test them out in this dominant Cardiff Met scrum.
That's what you want as a prop, isn't it? I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was on the rugby field, I wanted to be as far away from the scrum as possible. But you've got to love scrumming if you're a prop, and so straight into what they love most, what they do best.
Bind!
No, I never found myself in the front row. I think Burnsy did. We'll have a chat about that later. I think he might have spent a season at hooker. Like a maniac. Another penalty. That's a massive win for Cardiff Met. Cardiff Uni opt for the scrum and then concede the penalty, and Met are away. Another good cover tackle coming in. That was Freya Bell on the ball. Isla Craig works it out to the left. Williams steps off the left, and she's brought down by Watts. Or is she? She's picked it up, she's gone again, and she's got try number 2. Amy, the Wizard Williams, has conjured something out of nothing.
Not held was the call by the referee, and Amy Williams taking full advantage. A brace today, just as in September, and she's got the best part of a quarter of this match to go to try and get her hat-trick. Met's 6th try.
Well, if she doesn't get it, it's hat-trick avoidance, so when it comes to the Christmas social, that'll cost you. But this is great game IQ, isn't it? It was a really good tackle by Rebecca Watts. A front rower on a loosey-goosey back 3 player. It can often be a mismatch, but if you don't complete the tackle, you are done. 34-0.
And again, I think that comes down to some tiredness on the half of Cardiff University. The fact that they felt that the tackle had been made, there wasn't that support at the ruck. And so Williams, when she got back to her feet, then had no one in front of her as she ran to the line.
Well, the kick is good. It is 36-0. Let's take another look at this from Amy Williams.
Yeah, pulled down there, releases the ball. Well, we assume actually couldn't see the release because of the players in front of us. The referee was right on the spot, so...
Well, if she's not held, she goes again. Oh, it's another one. Oh, no, it has gone 10 because Met have let it bounce.
I mean, I understand they're kicking to compete and they want to get that ball back, but the execution is costing them.
Generally is when they're kicking over to that right-hand side. You wonder whether a switch of direction might make things a bit easier for them.
Here is Williams, again, just dancing off the right peg, then the left peg, straight into Emily Hay. Lovely balance in the way she carries the ball.
Backwards.
Referee says backwards. Tal Barnes has come on. Next up and coming 10. They're very excited about her here at Cardiff Met. Now Williams. George takes McDonald for a ride. And Cardiff University, well, they've barely been able to get their hands on the ball in this second half. It's been pretty tough for them. Again, they're talking about celebrating those little wins when they get them, but they're really struggling to get those little wins right now as Paige Jones goes again. Brilliant engine on Jones. Cardiff Met just slowly marching forward, making gain line with every carry. Emily Joyce.
Cardiff Uni
forwards throwing dummies now and finding offloads. Tal Barnes takes it on. Glorious handling. Rose Walker. Just look at Tal Barnes there, saying exactly where she wants that ball. Cardiff University just exhausted. Every tackle made, they're walking back into position, they're putting their bodies on the line, but right now it's not enough. There's space out there on the edge, and the cover tackle by Caro Thomas. A try-saving one, but it just feels as though we're prolonging the inevitable here. Even Isla Craig now carrying, picking up penalties. No clear release before they went for the turnover.
Time's off. Time's off.
That's Craig that's down on that far side. So we see, in fact, quite a few bodies from the Archers' side on the ground and needing to be tended to. At this point in time, Cardiff Uni, who currently have James coming on, get another substitution. They really need their support to get behind them. But unfortunately, it's not only the scoreline that is in Cardiff Met's favour, it is also the level of noise coming from the supporters.
It's busy, isn't it? I tell you, it's done a roaring trade today. Whoever's selling Santa hats.
It is very red. It is very glittery down there.
Oh, I love it.
You wouldn't be surprised if you saw them in the street. You'd think they were probably carol singers coming along.
Yeah.
And they have been in fine voice, but it's not Christmas songs that they have been singing.
It's early. That could all change. Oh, they've gone for the old dummy to the corner, the tap and the go. I respect that. Defying convention again, Cardiff Met, picking up another penalty. And they can sense that Cardiff Uni are tired. They just want to go, and they want to go quickly, don't they? And Fionn James getting waved off. And this Met team, they just want to play. Because they think there are meat pies to be had. Little Christmas treats for the Archers. That one smuggled back to Rose Walker.
Offside.
Then another snipe. Emily Joyce goes. Offside penalty coming if they need it. They might not. Hubert. Oh, just short by Hubert. I thought Isla Craig was going to pick and go instead. It's Rose Walker. Molly Thomas drives the leg. She's over the line. She's grounded the ball. And Cardiff Met are rampant.
Try number 7. And that half century in sight once again for the Archers. It's going to be the simplest of conversions, with Met having run into the post just a phase before. They are right by it with that try, and Cardiff Uni finding themselves in the all too familiar location.
Yeah.
In their own in goal trying to come up with a plan that will get them.
Well, if they spend any more time there, they'll have to pay council tax. It's been that kind of half, hasn't it? Here's Freya Bell to take him up to 43, just one converted score away from the half century. It's as easy as that. It's Met 43, it's Cardiff 0. And you said at the start of the second half that Cardiff Met had been looking to emulate the success of week 1. At that point of the game, I thought the half century would be a big surprise. Now it feels like it's almost inevitable.
It does, and that does come across as unfair, I think, to Cardiff University. Have a much, much better restart there. They were going toe-to-toe with the Archers in the first half, just conceding 3 in that one, but that included one that really shouldn't have been given.
Second half's been tough though, isn't it? Cardiff Met have just managed the game so well, and as Cardiff Uni search for the interception, they managed to find a knock on. Now, can they get something from this game? They've got 11 minutes. They're not going to get a try bonus point, they're not going to get a losing bonus point, but they just have to give themselves something to take from this. Because before the game, Nick Evans, she talked about the little wins, about getting the victories where they could. I think in the first half they carried particularly well. I thought the scrum was a lot more solid, the set piece looked okay. I mean, that Amelia Hetherington tackle, that is going on the end of season highlights reel. That is serious stuff.
Set! Let's fucking go!
Yeah, that is the highlight of the game so far for Cardiff University, but we have seen some standout performers amongst their ranks, and this could be an opportunity for one of them to seize upon.
Well, that's been coughed up, and it's come back Cardiff's way. Here we go then. Chance to get over that white line. Rose Sturziker, she finds Hill, Hill feeds McDonald. McDonald hasn't grounded it, and that is one of the most astonishing pieces of individual defence we'll see this season. Amy Williams has managed to get under that ball in the process of it being grounded. Remarkable.
I mean, when she started to make the tackle, as we're about to see here, I thought that she was going to drive McDonald out over the touchline. McDonald had the strength to stay in, but she wasn't able to ground that ball.
That's incredible. Amy Williams. But here come Cardiff Uni again. Sturziker. Oh, the ball's gone forward. Thomas is going to ground it. But they just cannot get any breaks here. Cardiff University.
I was just thinking as Sturziker had it again there, that it's her that's going to go over the line for Cardiff Uni. Because she was involved in both plays, she has had so much go forward in that back line this evening. But she was just not able to find a supporting runner with the offload. And Met survived once again.
I am shook by that Williams defence.
Crow!
What a game she is having. She has earned her Christmas break, that is for sure.
Let's start talking about runners and riders then. I want some nominees for player of the match. Let's start with Cardiff University. It's highly likely that it'll be a Cardiff Met player, but who's impressed you in the red of Cardiff tonight?
Well, from the forward pack, I think it is Della Savina who's really stood up. She has been a real force at the breakdown, and there were a number of penalties won at the breakdown and turnovers won by Cardiff University in the first half. In the back line, it is Sturziker.
Oh, Met have managed to gather this kick. Well chased by Morgan Burke. 2 tries in the last clash for Burke. So yes, Sturziker, she's an impressive player, isn't she? And I think she's the kind of player that is here with Cardiff, and she's in a team that doesn't win every week, but she'd probably look comfortable in most of the teams in Women's BUCS Super Rugby.
Yeah, I think she would. Really standout performer in this Cardiff University side. But if you were able to give player of the match for one standout moment,
oh, yes.
You're not looking past Hetherington.
Hetherington, yeah. the melt machine that is Amelia Hetherington. So Cardiff Met, next time the ball goes dead, we'll talk about some nominees, but it might be going dead with a try here for Met. It's opening up on the left-hand side. Oh, another huge hit, this time from Caro Thomas. A little bit too huge from Carolina Thomas. In fact, the AR wants to step in and have a further conversation.
Any cover? Clear line break or no? Not clear line break. Yeah. Time's up.
Well, they were discussing then whether or not it was a clear try-scoring opportunity, a clear line break, and if so, that would have been a very peculiar way to bring up the half-century.
Yeah, wouldn't have been the way that Met would have expected it, or that the purists would never necessarily have wanted.
So Em Haywood is down, and she's pretty stricken at the moment. So with that in mind, let's talk about Cardiff Met then, because it's likely that it will be a Cardiff Met player of the match. Who have you enjoyed watching this evening?
So obviously it's Seren Webster in the forward pack who went over and scored one of Met's tries in the second half, one of many. She has had a really strong game on the blindside flank. Special mention though to Cookie.
Yes.
At tight head. She's been involved in quite a few tight, hard runs around the ruck, always powering forwards.
What about in the backs then for the Archers tonight?
I mean, that's where there's just riches aplenty for Cardiff Met. Everyone in that back line has stepped up. We've seen tries from Owen, from George, from Marlowe, from Powell, but Amy Williams.
Okay, so she's up there. We're not going to do the grand reveal yet, but Amy Williams with her couple of tries and then holding that ball up. She might be in contention, let's just say. Might just be. We'll wait a couple of minutes before that. If you're just joining us, very warm welcome. This is part one of the doubleheader today, the Cardiff Clash doubleheader. This is Women's BUCS Super Rugby, Cardiff Met. It's 43-0. They've been very dominant isn't a word, dominant in this second half. The first half, it was 17-0, but Cardiff were competitive. And if you haven't watched the majority of this game, don't be fooled into thinking it has been one-sided or not entertaining in any way. That group there, Cardiff University, just this second year in the top tier of women's university rugby, and they're building a performance squad, and stick with them on the journey because I think it'll be worth it. Following this game, Burnsy will be down there, mic in hand, ready to get some post-match reaction. We'll be hearing from the player of the match, which will be announced shortly, and also from the winning coach as well. And then we turn our attention to the men's game, Cardiff Met versus Cardiff University, to bring the curtain down on BUCS Super Rugby in 2024 as we start to look forward to 2025 and the championship finals, the BUCS Super Rugby Milk Championship finals that will be taking place at Rodney Parade, the home of the Dragons, the first time that the Elite University finals will take place this side of the border. So that is Em Haywood leaving the field, and injuries catching up with Cardiff University.
Time's back on.
Again, fingers crossed that it's not too serious, it's merely precautionary. But now we're back underway, deep into the final 10 minutes of the game, and Cardiff Met going in search of the tries. They'll give them the opportunity to score 50 here at the Arms Park. Emily Joyce up over the gain line, as she has been every time she's on the ball. Evie de Croix knocks it on, and that smile on her face is tears in the eyes because she knows what an opportunity that was.
Yeah, but it shows you just how far ahead Cardiff Met are in this one. It's knocking the ball on 5 metres from the try line on an occasion like this isn't greeted with huge groans of anguish. Instead, it's just able to be left off, and Met will cut down for this scrum. Cardiff Uni will feed, hoping to clear their lines.
Set!
Tough egg this for Cardiff University. Oh, and they've been twisted up at the scrum again. I think we'll reset that. Right then, let's do it then. The big reveal, the grand reveal.
The big reveal, but yeah, a little bit like a fairly obviously wrapped Christmas present sitting under the tree in the run-up to the big day itself. I might have given it away a little bit. It will come as no surprise, I'm sure, to our viewers that I do think our player of the match today is Amy Williams. She was involved in both of Cardiff Met's first 2 tries as a playmaker. Before, in the second half, she managed to cross herself.
Retreat! 20, retreat!
And here she is on the ball. It's going to bounce up kindly for our player of the match, Amy Williams, who's going to have a go to try and get this hat-trick try. Gets the fend away, Williams, off the try-saving tackle. Fionn James looked for all the world like it was going to be another Amy Williams special. But it's a Cardiff Uni special. They've enacted a few of those turnovers to save their blushes.
I thought for a moment that Amy Williams could hear us, and she decided she was going to create her own highlight reel, gets announced as player of the match, catches the kick, and then just runs into the corner with a solo effort. Not quite to be, but with just over 4 minutes left in this one, don't count anything out.
Good night at the office for her. Good night at the office for Cardiff Met as well. That's another big shot. The physicality in this game. In fact, the physicality in women's BUCS Super Rugby has gone up a notch this season, just as it did in the WLL last year. Here come Cardiff Met again. 50 points, surely inevitable. They've got 4 minutes to find 7. And they are tossing it around for fun. Rose Walker.
Roll!
Craig. It's going to be a big 80 minutes for her. Here is Williams. It is a hat-trick. On the short ball this time. Great tracking line. On the inside shoulder. And Amy Williams picks up her Cardiff Clash hat-trick. And it's Met 48, Cardiff 0.
She knows the rules of the social that you alluded to earlier. She was not going to end up with that penalty for avoiding the hat-trick. And once again, she goes over the line with a defender attached to her, but not able to stop her. She is so powerful with ball in hand.
Well, 3 very different tries. All showing just different strengths of her game. And that support line exemplary. Cardiff Met on the full-time whistle can raise the bat for the half century. What a way to sign off in 2024 for the Archers. 33 unanswered points in the second half. 50 in total. It's a half century. It finishes here in part 1 of the Christmas Clash. Cardiff Met 50, Cardiff University 0. Well, while the players show their appreciation for one another, let's talk about Cardiff University then, because they were exhausted in that second half. There are a few things, a few positives for them to hold on to, but the scoreline's certainly not one of them.
It's not, but they've got to take themselves back to that first half when they were the equals of Cardiff Met in many aspects of the game. Their turnover rate was really exceptional. They got themselves into Cardiff Met's 22 a number of times, but then they've got to go back to the drawing board a little bit in terms of converting those chances, working on some of the basics like the restarts. And then, I mean, you can't really do anything about it when you've got so many players going off injured early in the game, but the tiredness was a massive factor in the second half.
Well, some lovely moments between players celebrating there, because that is a hard-earned victory. They played some great rugby, they had to hang on at times, but a squad that's been disrupted by players who've been called up to play in the Celtic Challenge. There are 23 people there who've all put their hand up for selection, and they've done it in style tonight here at the Arms Park.
Yeah, they've they said, that's fine, you go off, you play for Gwale, you play for Brithon, but when you come back to Met, I may well have your shirt.
Well, these are the tries, all of them coming from the one team. This was the first one, a suggestion of a forward pass, but no doubt about the finish. Molly May Powell, fantastic.
She still had a long way to go even after receiving that pass, but she was never going to be caught. Pinned her ears back, great try.
It was all about being clinical for Cardiff Met in the first half, and the easiest way to do that is to get your big ball carriers to go in behind. It was Cookie who did most of the hard work, but an excellent finish by Marnie George to put the seal on it.
Very close to the touchline, had to be powerful to beat through that tackle and get herself over in the corner.
Again, this was try number 3 that took us through to half-time at 17-0. More good direct work from the forwards, but Isla Craig, she's not here to mess about. As soon as she gets in there, again, works it out to that right-hand side, and we were impressed with the way that Cardiff Met executed that.
Yeah, we were talking about at the time about the heads-up rugby not staying in tight as they then did for their 4th try, but getting the ball out and going over in the corner.
Oh, that was Amelia Hetherington. I mean, the joy didn't last for too long, as is often the case in rugby, because Seren Webster went over, and that was a real tipping point in the game, wasn't it? You feel if Cardiff Uni had got the first score after half-time, it might have been a different picture, but instead it was Met.
Yeah, that bonus point really just energised Met, and they weren't being stopped thereafter, as we see with this one, the first of the tries from Amy Williams.
Yeah, welcome to the Williams show. It was Marnie George who took the first carry, but then a little bit of tired defence, a little bit of great vision, and that was the first of the second half hat-trick for our eventual BUCS Super Rugby player of the match, Amy Williams. And then Cardiff just continued to pull forward, didn't they? The scrum incredibly dominant, but they just wanted to play. They just wanted to keep the ball live, keep the ball moving.
Yeah, I really like this about Met in the second half, that they were taking a lot of penalties quickly. They weren't just kicking for touch on each one, and it paid dividends.
Yeah, this was really smart. The tackle only half made. She could bounce up and go again, Amy Williams.
Great rugby knowledge to release that ball, get back on her feet and cross the line.
And then we started to think about 50, because the University defenders were tired. Cardiff Met were just full of energy. It's so much easier when you've got your hands on the ball and you can just keep pouring forward. And then Molly Thomas, great leg drive here. She's got through 2 defenders. There was a good latch in behind her as well from Emily Joyce. Thomas got herself on the scoreboard. And then again, a tap and a go and building pressure. Paige Jones had a good game, didn't she?
She did. We saw her a couple of times defensively, but she also made some really key carries, and this was one of them.
And then Rose Walker took over. And this time from shorter range, it was Amy Williams, a great line. Took a defender over with her, who was Joss Sturziker, again, someone who huffed and puffed all night for Cardiff University, but it just wasn't to be. Tell you what is to be, 7 p.m. kickoff, Cardiff Met versus Cardiff Men's, BUCS Super Rugby, and then we kick off 2025 on the 22nd of January at Swansea University, followed by a trip to Exeter. We've just missed, who's that who's just done the backflip there? There's a Cardiff Met player.
That wasn't Cookie, was it?
I'm not sure. Either way, the celebrations, it's great to see, and that is the beauty of playing these games here. All the fans can pile forward onto the fence, they can share these moments, and then they can jump in the shower, pop their Christmas jumpers on, and have a great night out. I'm sure they'll be watching the men's game. Hopefully you all will as well. I mean, I certainly will. What are your plans?
Oh, I'm sticking around for it. The atmosphere is going to be incredible. And if I end up being carried on a sea into town for a bit of a night out afterwards,
I hope so.
Then my portfolio is just going to have to wait.
Well, Cardiff's a great city for it. If you've never been here to watch a game, then do come and watch a Cardiff Clash, or come and watch Cardiff or Wales or whatever, because the stadium, both this Cardiff Arms Park and the big room next door, you can just stroll into town and have a lovely, lovely time. Right then, we have got a couple of interviews for you. We're going to be hearing from Lisa Newton. Really interested to hear what she's got to say after that, actually. I'd imagine she'll be very happy with how this team have responded, of course, because they're all talented players, but they won't have been able to do it as a group, will they? And that's the thing, being able to build up consistency in a short space of time.
Yeah, developing that chemistry on the pitch comes from the work you do off it and the feel that you have in your club. And I know that's something that Met have really worked on, but it's invaluable to get experience like that with one another and then to do it on a stage like this at the Arms Park with all of your support.
Yes, it certainly is. Oh, very good. Well, I can see they've ambled across now. I can see Burnsy is ready to go. He has got Lisa Newton and the hat-trick hero, the player of the match tonight, Amy Williams. Burnsy, how are they?
Much lovely call there, and what a match to enjoy. And we've just seen some wonderful scenes of the Cardiff Met players and the Cardiff players rushing to their fans to show their appreciation of the support they got here in the Arms Park, which on a massive night for both sides. But one, judging by the megawatt smiles I've got here, has been enjoyed, Lisa, by you and Cardiff Met an awful lot more. That was a fine performance from you guys.
Yeah, it was, and I think, you know, the first half we probably made a little bit of hard work of it, tried to do a little bit too much. But the second half, physicality, like, they really brought it, and I think, you know, probably was the difference between the first half and the second half for us.
Right, Amy, you were right in the thick of it, scoring tries, setting up tries. Tell us, what was it like to be out there in the fog of war?
I think in the first half we didn't put our best performance out, so I think half-time we all had a chat and said we can do a lot better and just give more and put more energy into it. So I think coming out second half, we're all quite up for it, and yeah, we just played our rugby, stuck to our structure and got the result.
Yeah, you make it sound so simple, but I mean rugby's a much more complicated game, and I think credit needs to be paid as well to Cardiff about the way that they performed throughout their game. I think that for the guys in commentary, and certainly me looking on, I look at the scoreboard now and think 50-0, it doesn't look great, but it didn't feel like a half-century win for you, if you know what I mean.
100%. I think that Cardiff, the skills in the contact area challenged us, especially in the first half. They were having way too many turnovers for my liking, you know. I think that was the message that I sent on at half-time was, you know, that has to be better, because they really did cause us some issues there. So credit to Cardiff.
Physicality, can we talk about the hit? Amelia Hetherington, did you bear witness to that? I don't know which of your players
on Nicole, I
saw
did see it.
I didn't see that. I saw their soul leave their body, though. I mean, have you seen a hit like that?
Yeah, to be fair, I got to give it to them. Yeah, physically, they brought it. I don't think we were expecting it, to be honest. But yeah, first half, as Lisa said, they were over the rucks a lot, and I think our speed wasn't good enough. And we all said at half-time, as I've said, like, we need to pick it up. So I think we brought it a bit more in the second half, and the subs coming on, I think, helped us just get momentum. And yeah.
Right, should we embarrass Amy now a little bit about her performance, okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, okay. So, you know, wonderfully balanced running there, 3 tries, 1 assist as well, 2 assists. I think I got cut out shot on one of them, but at least...
She's pretending like she hasn't kept count.
Yeah, okay, do you know what, Lisa, you grab the mic, you say some nice words about Amy, because we enjoyed her performance so much.
Think, honestly, if you look at how much of an attacking threat Amy has been all season, like, she definitely displayed that tonight. But one thing that, you know, playing fullback today usually starts on the wing. Defensive game, and the last man tackles were very impressive. But not only the tackles, you know, given the opportunity for a turnover then as well. So. Fair play, Amy, well done.
You're looking increasingly awkward, Amy. You're on here. But look, things are going well for you, Wales 20s stuff. But you came from football, right? So, I mean, how did you find yourself playing rugby? And tell us what you love about rugby that sort of kicks football to touch.
Yeah, I joined rugby in college. It was my colleague went, Scotty, my coach, he said, do you want to give it a go on the wing? And I was like, yeah, why not? And then I just slowly started enjoying it more, like the physicality of it, everything. And then, yeah, I went back to football for a little bit, and then came to Met and just got into rugby fully again after. Yeah. Yeah, and I just yeah.
You just love the sexy rugby that Lisa Newton's all about, right? Sexy rugby. Was that sexy enough for you this evening, Lisa?
I'll say there were parts that were sexy enough.
Could be sexier.
Could be sexier.
Could be sexier, ladies and gentlemen. Last question. How far do you think you and the girls can go? Because there's a number of big names missing as well because of the Celtic Challenge. Yeah. But I know you've got big aspirations. You've got that magnificent win away at Edinburgh as well. To win away in Edinburgh is a big deal. Do you feel that you guys can really go and push to maybe make a final?
Yeah, I think we had a slow start to the season, but I think we've just built into it, and a lot of the girls stepped up today. There's a couple who haven't played for ones yet who played really well, and I think we're just building every week and getting more confidence in ourselves. So I do back ourselves to hopefully get into a final and get a result.
Okay, final question. There's a big break before the next round of fixtures. It's the Cardiff Clash. You've just scored a hat-trick. Your team's just scored 50 points. Talk to us about the celebration tonight. Where's it going down in Cardiff?
Yeah, I think we'll all have a few drinks watching the boys' game now, and then make our way into town and probably end up.
That sounds like
end up in revs.
The most low-key appraisal of the mayhem that's to come. But you are worthy of the mayhem. Congratulations, you're the player of the match, and congratulations to you both on a big performance in the Clash right there. Pleasure. Right, everybody. There you go, 50 points, a hat-trick hero, and part one of the Cardiff Clash all wrapped up. Part two is to come when the boys throw down here in a fixture that always delivers drama. You'd be mad to miss out. We'll be back for a live kickoff at 7 p.m. with all the usual match build-up. Go make yourself a cup of tea, but don't miss the stream. We'll catch you back here in a moment.